I blocked the sulfuric acid my boyfriend's brother threw at him, only to end up with my entire face disfigured. My boyfriend accepted $800,000 and immediately forgave his brother. He said, "My brother just acted on impulse. Since I've already married you, you should just let it go." When I opened my eyes again, I had gone back to the second before the acid was thrown. This time, I quickly distanced myself from the battlefield. I woke up in the hospital. After the initial reconstructive surgery, when the bandages were removed, the pockmarked face staring back at me in the mirror made me scream in horror. Joelson rushed into the hospital room upon hearing my screams, asking what was wrong, but the moment I turned around, the things in his hands fell to the ground in shock. His instinctive reaction only deepened my heartache. "Call the police. I'm going to sue him. I will definitely sue him." The tone of resentment tugged at the freshly healed flesh on her face, causing pain. Upon hearing this, Joelson turned pale and sat down beside her. "Lexi, don't call the police. After all, he's still my brother, and you know how much my mother and I owe him." I stared at the person before me in disbelief. "So I'm just ruined like this. What am I supposed to do now? I must sue him." Joelson avoided eye contact, then suddenly said with determination, "Lexi, I'll marry you. Don't sue him. I'll marry you." "I don't want him to marry me. I just want justice." It was supposed to be my first time meeting Joelson's parents at his home. The dishes had just been served when suddenly there was a knock at the door. Joelson's mother opened the door, and a man suddenly rushed in. The man's face was full of resentment, holding a thermos cup in his hand, and he headed straight for the dining table. As soon as Joelson saw him, he immediately stood up and said with a smile, "Brother, you're here." "Don't call me brother. I don't have a brother like you. How dare the old man give you money, you bastard son of a mistress. Go to hell." As he spoke, he opened the cup in his hand and swiftly splashed its contents. At the critical moment, I stepped in front of him. The corrosive liquid splashed onto my face and neck. The sizzling sound of sulfuric acid eating through my skin echoed in my ears as I screamed in agony before being rushed to the hospital. And now, he tells me not to pursue this. I can't just let this go. I will sue him to death. I pushed him away, stubbornly determined to go to the police station and file a report immediately. Joelson grabbed me firmly, his gaze avoiding my eyes, yet his tone was eerily calm. "The police already filed the case long ago. Your parents took the money and signed the settlement agreement ages ago. Lexi, it's useless." It felt like a blow to the head. A surge of betrayal ignited my fury. I turned back, only to meet his lowered gaze. "Besides, from your hospitalization to all the repair costs, he's been the one paying for everything. Lexi, we can't afford to sue him." I felt as if I'd been plunged into an icy abyss. My face seemed unbearable for him to look at. He turned his head away, his arm gripping me tightly, yet his voice was filled with heartache. "We're both adults now. Don't be foolish just to prove a point. Lexi, forgive my brother. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I'll marry you." I look at the person before me, tears streaming down my pockmarked face for a long time yet refusing to fall. What does this even mean? Him marrying me became my blessing, but now you don't even dare to look at me. He turned around and suddenly pulled me into his embrace. "Lexi, I've wronged you my entire life. Give me the chance to take care of you." In the end, I married Joelson, because after our argument, my mother rushed straight to the hospital. When she saw me turn around, she froze completely for 2 seconds. Then she pointed at my face and started shouting abuse. "You should consider yourself lucky to find someone like Xiaoshan. Have you even looked at yourself in the mirror? We've already spent the money on your brother's house. There's no way we're giving it back. Just marry him quietly and stop thinking about suing them." I only found out later that she had accepted 200,000 yuan in compensation and a 100,000 yuan betrothal gift from the Shun family on the day we registered our marriage. The photographer taking our ID photos stopped mid-sentence after saying, "A perfect match." The photographer awkwardly lowered his head to fiddle with the camera, but Joelson pulled me aside and still managed to give me a smile. "Lexi, you look prettier today than ever before." I forced a smile at him, and he froze in response. Whatever, at least he still loves me. After getting married, Joelson suddenly received a spot in a singing competition. Both he and I are graduates of performing arts schools. In that circle, there are too many good-looking people, and the money we earn is barely enough to make ends meet. Logically speaking, such an opportunity wouldn't fall into our hands. Jolshan said it was just good luck. He quickly went to attend the simple training organized by the show's production team, while I stayed at home to recuperate. Jolshan's mother really doesn't like me. Maybe it's because of this face. Or maybe it's because of something else. Lexi, according to what you say, with your current condition, you shouldn't have married into our family, but our Xiaoshan values loyalty, and he alone has to support the entire family. You need to be more virtuous. Look at this floor. You weren't paying attention just now, were you? Mop it again. I quickly nodded in agreement. All the household money, including my compensation, is controlled by Jolshan's mother. I'm afraid that if I don't comply with her wishes, my reconstructive surgery might be halted. Fortunately, though, my mother-in-law is just a bit harsh with her words. My reconstructive surgery has never actually been interrupted. Jolshan's appearance on the show went viral, and he gained some popularity, so the company quickly pushed him into a production team. Jolshan suddenly entered the entertainment industry, and the web series he starred in happened to become a hit. His career soared higher, but the rumors about him also multiplied. My face has recovered about 60%, but it still bears scars that resemble crawling insects. What's worse, my face can no longer display clear emotions. For an artist, this means my acting career is effectively over. In the second year of our marriage, he became increasingly popular and increasingly absent from home, while my mother-in-law's expression grew darker, until one time. I brought soup I had made to visit him on set. I wore a hat and a mask, not wanting anyone to recognize me in what was once a familiar workplace. But when I arrived at the studio, I was still stopped. "Hey, who are you?" The security guard stopped me and asked. I didn't like the probing look he gave me, so I dodged and said, "I'm Jolshan's family. Here to see him." The other person looked skeptical. "Family? What family? You're not some stalker, are you?" "I'm not, I really am family. Here, wait a moment, I'll have him tell you himself." On my phone, I sent 2 or 3 messages, but there was no response. The security guard's gaze at me grew increasingly suspicious. "You young girls these days, instead of doing something proper at your age, you chase after celebrities all day. Can that put food on the table? You're obsessed with star chasing. Get out of here." Staring at the unresponsive page, I glanced at the studio again, thinking he might be busy, and squatted by the exit to wait. The autumn wind was chilly, and my legs had gone numb from squatting when people inside finally started wrapping up. Staff members were coming out of the entrance one after another, and I huddled in the corner, unnoticed by anyone, as wave after wave of people left, and even the security guards were in a hurry to go for their meals. I seized the moment when no one was paying attention and slipped inside. Logically, the artist should have left first. Why hasn't Jolshan left yet after all this time? With my head down, I passed by each person, pulling my hat lower, searching through the dressing rooms one by one, before I could even open the door to a lounge. The sounds coming from inside were enough to make one blush, assuming it was some illicit couple. I was about to leave when I heard my name mentioned by the people inside. "Brother Shan, tell me, who's more beautiful, me or Lexi Sue?" A familiar voice. "Of course it's you. How could that ugly creature compare to you now? I can't even be bothered to touch her. You're so much better. Then why did you reject me for her back then?" I pressed closer to the door, heavy breathing mingling with the response. That was different. Back then she had so much promise. I had to think about our future. The moment I heard she passed Director Lee's audition, I brought her home immediately. Who could have imagined something like this would happen? But if she hadn't had an accident, how could Director Lee's role of Shi Qian have fallen to you? You should be secretly celebrating. I stood outside the door, feeling my blood turn cold inch by inch. The life derailed by that accident, the pain and grievances on the operating table. None of it had faded. Instead, it flourished wildly at this very moment. I pushed the door open and pressed the shutter under their terrified gazes. Didn't they want fame? I'll make them famous. "Lexi Sue, stop right now, let me explain." Jolshan chased after me naked, while I ran with my phone, spilling scalding soup on both of them. I fled amidst a chorus of screams, my blood boiling with rage, determined to send both of them to hell. Unable to return home and having been out of the loop for too long, I quickly reached out to my best friend. I told her I wanted to expose Jolshan and asked her to recommend some contacts. Upon hearing this, Meng Yuan immediately arranged a meeting spot for me. On my way there, a massive truck came barreling recklessly toward me as I waited at a red light. At the last second, I closed my eyes, and after a deafening noise, I found myself standing to the side. I was dead, but only after I died did I learn that the truck driver had been bribed by someone Jolshan hired. Meng Yuan had tipped him off. And afterward, she even received $1 million hush money. After my death, a grand funeral was held. Jolshan wept uncontrollably at the funeral, successfully gaining a wave of public sympathy and even being praised by netizens as a devoted and loving husband. Netizens even dug up photos of me going to the hospital for checkups after my disfigurement. Faced with my appearance, they expressed disgust, saying I must have saved the galaxy in my past life to marry Jolshan in this one. And to have such a wonderful mother-in-law. They climbed up step by step, trampling over my flesh and blood. I stayed by their side, wishing I could skin them alive and drink their blood, until Jolshan and Wen Qing's grand wedding of the century. In their new home, Jolshan finally revealed that back then, his brother had given him 800,000. He used 500,000 to buy his own competition entry, and spent the remaining 100,000 on my reconstructive surgery. Just looking at her disgusting face makes me sick. Thank goodness it wasn't me who got disfigured. All of this is Lexi Su's own fault. Filled with resentment, I swore that if I could start over, I'd make sure he tasted the same bitterness. When I opened my eyes again, I suddenly found myself back at the dining table. Lexi is so beautiful. Here, have some fish. I opened my eyes to see Jolshan's mother sitting across from me, putting food into my bowl. A tender piece of fish belly was placed in my bowl. This was definitely not the treatment I'd expect after getting married. I looked around and saw Jolshan sitting beside me, beaming with a smile. What's wrong? Why are you spacing out? I suppressed the hatred in my heart, a bold idea forming. I've been reborn. Reborn on the very day I was supposed to meet Jolshan's damn mother. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Maybe it's a delivery, I'll go check. Jolshan's mom put down her chopsticks and got up to answer the door. What's wrong, Lexi? I looked at the fake smile on this person's face, shook my head, and subtly shifted my body to the side. Peel a shrimp for me. As soon as I finished speaking, he happily took the plate. And I immediately noticed the gift box beside the dining table. The size was just right. Perfect for self-defense. The sound of an argument came from the doorway. Exactly like in my past life, Jolshan's older brother walked in. Jolshan sat on the chair, holding a half-peeled shrimp in his hand, and even smiled as he asked, "Brother, what brings you here?" Then amidst the angry shouts, the corrosive liquid rushed straight toward him. Quick as lightning, I swiftly stepped back and grabbed the gift box to shield my side. Apart from a slight burning sensation on my thigh, likely from a few splashes, I felt nothing else anywhere else. My face, Jolshan screamed in agony, the shrimp in his hand dropping onto the table. The napkins on the table instantly turned yellow and black upon contact with the sulfuric acid. His mother hurried forward, while Shenjing stood frozen in place. Back when he splashed the wrong person, he was also scared stiff like this, rooted to the spot. I quickly called the police, anxiously hovering around Jolshan with a frantic expression. What do we do? What on earth should we do now? Jolshan covered his face and screamed, while his mother bustled around in a flurry of activity. Take off your clothes, hurry up and take them off, Auntie. Quickly get something to wipe him down and send him to the hospital right away, I said, as if Jolshan's mother had suddenly found her backbone and immediately sprang into action. I can't take them off, I'm an artist. Son, nothing is more important than your life. Jolshan's mother wailed as she forcibly cut off his shirt and pants with scissors. However, the primary self-rescue measure after being splashed with sulfuric acid is to rinse with clean water. When sulfuric acid comes into contact with water, it generates heat, but the water carries away the heat, preventing the person from feeling intense burning sensations. This was something I only learned after going to the hospital in my past life. Back then, in agony, I knocked over a drink on the table, which provided relief to the burned areas on my arm. And only then did I rush to rinse with water. In this lifetime, I've been exceptionally kind by taking away any drinks he might knock over, ensuring I don't touch him, and anxiously offering unhelpful assistance. My pain, he must repay it 1,000-fold for it to be fair. Returning once more to the familiar hospital, the smell of disinfectant actually brings me comfort. Amid the chaos, I took Jolshan's phone and slipped into the restroom. His phone has a 4-digit passcode. First, I tried my birthday. It didn't work. Then, I tried his birthday. Still no luck. Just as I was at a loss, a message suddenly lit up on the screen. Wen-Ching, are you taking her to meet Auntie today? Does Auntie like her or me more? I almost forgot about her. Jolshan and I were in the same graduating class at film school. While Wen-Ching was our junior by 2 years. With her sweet looks, she had known Jolshan since childhood and called herself his younger sister. I never thought much of it. It wasn't until my past life that I realized the two of them had always stayed in touch, especially, back when I had my accident, I couldn't take on the role in director Lee's audition for Southern Country. Although it was just a minor supporting role, 5th female lead, the character was quite endearing. Jolshan took the script I had annotated with my notes and insights and gave it to Wen-Ching, then spent money to pull strings and recommend her to the director, after the movie's success. The role gained a lot of fans, and Wen-Ching officially entered the film and television industry. This time, they must also be locked in tight. I entered Wen-Ching's birthday on my phone, and the lock screen immediately opened, opening the chat history. I just realized that Jolshan had me saved as beautiful, innocent fiancé. Scrolling down a bit, I discovered he was keeping other options open. For instance, Wen-Ching was saved as sweet and spicy childhood friend. Besides that, there were also cold and elegant long-haired goddess, fiery and exciting colleague, rich but clueless fangirl. Even his mom was labeled as easily irritated old mother. I was thoroughly amused, initially planning to just scroll through his chat history with Wen-Ching, but now there was plenty to go through. My fingers slid across the screen, and the further I scrolled up, the clearer it became. His flirtatious exchanges with Wen-Ching had never stopped. Their relationship was probably more than friendship but not quite lovers. If he didn't have a girlfriend, it might have been fine. But while dating me, he was showering me with affection while picking out lingerie styles for another girl. Utterly disgusting. There was too much evidence. So I decided to just keep the phone. After all, in the chaos, no one would notice. When I went out again, the police had already arrived at the entrance of the operating room and were questioning Shen's mother. "Officer, you must stand up for my boyfriend. He's an actor. This will ruin his career. Don't let him get away with it." I cried hysterically, reacting even more intensely than his mother. Seeing this, the police quickly helped me up and comforted me. Shen's mother, however, didn't look pleased. If she got the original wife's son arrested, how would she explain it to Jolshan's father? I only found out about these things after getting married. Jolshan's father is a small entrepreneur. But he already had a wife. Joel's mother was his father's first love from his youth. 23 years ago, the two had a reckless moment. And unexpectedly, Joel's mother quietly gave birth to the child. 20 years later, she came back. Back then, most of the father's business relied on his wife's family. Now that he has gained control and sees his younger son has grown up decently, it's inevitable they reconnected. So when the legitimate son, Shen Jing, accidentally saw Jolshan playing a minor role on TV, out of resentment, he wanted to ruin Joel's face. In my past life, I was ruined. To avoid suing her first love son, she was even willing to hold her nose and let me marry into the family. It seems things aren't much different when it comes to her own biological son. "Officer, I am Jolshan's mother. Xiaosu hasn't married into the family yet, so let's discuss this matter between us." "Mom, what do you mean? Just because you were the other woman, does that mean the original wife's son can bully Jolshan as he pleases? No wonder Jolshan told me you've always been fawning over Shenjing. Have you no conscience? Your own son is still lying in there." After my outburst, the sheer volume of information drew frequent glances from those around us. Shen's mother panicked instantly. "What nonsense are you talking about? Shut up. What does our family matter have to do with you? How is it none of my business?" "Jolshan told me everything. You're his biological mother, yet you always side with Shenjing whenever he causes trouble. You've been wanting to drive the first wife to her death so you can become Shenjing's stepmother." "Shut up, shut up." Shen's mother screamed and tried to claw at me but was held back by others. "Calm down. You two," explained separately. After the police left, Jolshan was brought out tightly wrapped, bandages layered upon bandages, looking just like a mummy. The moment they entered the hospital room, Mrs. Shen's face darkened instantly. "Lexi, What did you mean by those words outside? I leaned against the wall with an air of indifference. It's nothing special, just something Joel Shan told me. If you want to reconcile, you should think carefully about how to explain it to Joel Shan. Mrs. Shan's face was full of suspicion. My son would never say such a thing. Believe it or not, if you don't, you can ask him yourself when you wake up. She had no way to ask. After all, the main reason for Joel Shan's disfigurement was also because of her. And once the seed of doubt is planted, it grows faster and faster in misfortune. In the previous life, she enjoyed a peaceful old age with a harmonious mother-son relationship. But what about this life? Just wait and see. None of them will have it easy. I was quickly driven away. But it doesn't matter. They'll invite me back. Emotional blackmail. They'll definitely come begging for me to clean up their mess later. But that's not important right now. The most crucial thing at the moment is Director Lee's role. I had just gotten into the taxi when Joel Shan's phone suddenly lit up. Wen-Qing, why aren't you replying? Brother, didn't you say you'd convince her to give up Director Lee's role for me? If that doesn't work, just slip her something. Make sure she can't go on the day of the costume fitting. Wen-Qing is currently filming out of town, and Joel Shan is a public figure. His mother wouldn't let this escalate, so she doesn't know. I raised an eyebrow, thinking of a way to get revenge. Joel Shan, Lexi Su isn't an option here, but I heard the assistant director has a minor role available. He happens to be in Liaoqing near you these 2 days. Use your connections. Maybe send a gift or something. Wen-Qing, got it, thanks, brother. This assistant director comes from a wealthy family and despises the entertainment industry's underhanded practices. Actors blacklisted by him rarely land roles in the circle. Besides, I never specified what kind of gift to send. Let's hope Wen-Qing doesn't offer herself. Otherwise, she'll only have herself to blame for miscalculating. Since I was already driven away, I simply blocked the Shan family. When I got home, I put my phone away. This was a move that could deliver a fatal blow. I quickly joined the production team. With my previous understanding of the role and the reference from 2 lifetimes, I performed exceptionally well. On the day of the wrap, even as a minor supporting actress, I received flowers. Checking the time. The initial restoration should be completed by now. Time to go see him. I deliberately put on makeup, though I'm not famous now, and just pushed the door open with a bouquet of flowers I received from the crew. When I entered, Joel Shan was screaming at the mirror. My face, ruined. It's okay, son, it'll get better. I opened the door and went in. Both of them turned to look at me. The moment I saw Joel Shan, the flowers in my hand fell to the ground. I did it on purpose. I clearly saw the hurt and pain in his eyes, then somewhat awkwardly picked up the flowers and said, as if trying to smooth things over, "As long as you're okay, you finally decided to show up. Where have you been all this time?" As soon as Mother Shan spoke, I rolled my eyes without a care. "Son, look at her attitude. Just look at her. I have to work. Besides, didn't your aunt tell me never to come back when she kicked me out?" Joel Shan noticed the bouquet with a standing plaque that read, "Congratulations on wrapping up. Did you go act in Southern Country?" "Yeah, after your mom kicked me out, she said we broke up, with love gone. I at least needed a career. I'm in such a big trouble. How can you still go to work with a clear conscience? Do you even care about me at all?" I looked at the man in front of me, his face twisted and pockmarked, and couldn't help but laugh. In my past life, after the incident happened to me, he got the marriage certificate with me and then immediately went to work. The time we spent together could be counted on 2 hands. How dare he ask me that? "What about you? After I joined the crew, Wen-Qing called you, didn't she? Somehow she got blacklisted in the industry and called to curse at me, even blaming me for not listening to you and giving up the role. You two have been in contact all along." He quickly shook his head. "No, how could that be? She was just talking nonsense. I was just joking with her." "But you can't ignore me just because you're angry. Why should I care about you? Even your mom thinks I'm meddling too much." "What do you mean?" I ignored him and turned to look at the gloomy-faced Mrs. Shan behind me. "Auntie, how much did Shanjing pay you to sign that settlement agreement so easily? Joel Shan is your own son. Aren't you going to demand justice for him?" "Mom, Lexi, what does this mean? What settlement agreement did you sign?" "No. Listen to me. Mom had no choice but to." Mrs. Shan hurried to explain, while I chimed in, thoroughly enjoying the drama. "Exactly. After all, Mrs. Shan is critically ill now, and once she's gone, you'll be rushing to become someone else's stepmother. How can you blame your future son for that? Right, Auntie, shut up. Mom, you need to explain this clearly. You said. The two began to argue, and Jolshan's pockmarked face twisted into an even more terrifying expression in his rage, frightening Mother Shin into retreating step by step. When the time came, I leisurely went downstairs to grab a meal. By the time I returned, the two were sitting in silence, as if they had united on the same front, but Mother Shin's gaze toward me was full of resentment. Lexi, Auntie was wrong. I apologize to you, but with Xiaoshan in this state now, surely a good girl like you wouldn't think of abandoning him in his time of need, would you? Emotional blackmail always arrives sooner or later. You should know you're practically a public figure. If you dare abandon Xiaoshan at a time like this, no need. Jolshan, let's get married. How you climbed the ladder by sucking my blood and bones in your past life. Now it's my turn in this one. Jolshan froze for a moment, his eyes filled with shock. He never expected I'd still be willing to marry him. There must have been a flicker of genuine emotion in him. Lexi, you're so kind. He came over to hug me, and I took a step back. He stood there hurt again, but that face combined with the wounded expression was somewhat indescribable. Let's get this straight. I can marry you, but only if I'm in charge of all the money in the household. Mrs. Shin was the first to lose her composure. On what grounds, Auntie? You can even forgive Jolshan being ruined just because the other party is Shinjing, and easily accept money as compensation. What if something happens to someone else in the future? If the money is left with you, won't you just return it all? Besides, since I married Jolshan, that money would definitely be used for his recovery. If it were all left with you, would you be willing to part with it? Hearing my words, Jolshan's thoughtful gaze also turned toward his mother. Once there's a crack between people, the relationship can easily break. Seeing the look in her son's eyes, Mrs. Shin also felt a bit afraid. What nonsense are you talking about? If you don't agree, then forget it. I won't force anyone. After saying that, I got up to leave but was grabbed by the arm by Jolshan. He turned to look at his mother, his gaze sinister. Mom, you're willing. Right, if not Lexi, your son will never find anyone else in the future. In the end, Mother Shin agreed. On the day of the wedding photoshoot, in front of the camera, Jolshan finally removed his mask after repeated urging from the photographer. That face left everyone present in stunned silence. He felt somewhat embarrassed, his proud self-esteem ground into the dirt, tightly gripping my hand. Like his past self, I smiled and said to him, Jolshan, you look better today than ever before. In the eyes of outsiders, I am an incredibly tolerant and kind wife, unwavering in my love, completely indifferent to appearances. I could hear the praise around me and see the fleeting anger and shame on the face of the person before me. Does it feel bad? Take it slow. Only after completing the marriage certificate did I begin to take stock of the Shin family's assets. To my surprise, the total assets of the Shin family actually amounted to 2 million. This is way more than I expected. Not only did Shinjing pay 1 million for this settlement, but Jolshan's father also chipped in 500,000 as compensation after hearing about it, plus their family savings. This might not even be the full amount, not to mention this house. Not bad at all. With all the money in my hands, I didn't hesitate to replicate his path to fame. This time, I spent 800,000 to secure a better spot for myself. And I also actively used the money to help him with repairs. Right after getting married, I joined the production team, just like in my previous life. Once the show aired, I instantly gained popularity. Coupled with the release of the movie, I quickly became somewhat famous, especially when the media exposed my early marriage. Everyone was originally feeling sorry for me, but on the day we registered our marriage at the Civil Affairs Office, some passers-by spoke up for me and even shared photos. Public opinion quickly shifted, and netizens couldn't help but exclaim, "Sis, you're so devoted, staying by his side despite everything. I really admire you, but wouldn't this face make you gag? I can't even eat while looking at it. Why can't I meet such a deeply devoted and loyal girlfriend?" I'm a fan now. My reputation kept improving, and I became increasingly busy with joining new projects, for long stretches. I simply couldn't spare any time for Jolshan. Even when I occasionally returned home, I would just sit for a while before leaving, turning a blind eye to his affectionate gestures. The look in his eyes toward me evolved from initial gratitude to slight resentment, and then to outright blame, intensifying step by step. Occasionally, when I treated him a little better, he would eagerly approach me, but the moment I showed even the slightest hint of disgust toward that face, he would retreat. Wounded, it's as painful as training a dog, staring at my own face every day while watching me on the screen. I control all the household expenses, and Jolshan's mother has to grit her teeth and smile at me. What a wonderful life this is, until one day, a message arrived on my phone. Jolshan, Lexi, I made some soup and came to the set to see you, but the security guard doesn't believe I'm your husband. He won't let me in. Can you come get me? How familiar this feels, with the roles reversed. This is what it's like. I had no intention of agreeing, but my co-star Song Yang chimed in with a smile. Is that your husband who married young, senior, with a helpless expression? I said, yes, he's quite sensitive and keeps a close eye on me. The people around pricked up their ears. Does he still watch over you, senior? After the accident, he's been quite insecure. I always have to report my whereabouts to him. Last time, because of work, I came home a bit late, and he smashed all the plates. There were sighs all around. Big brother is really inconsiderate, unlike me. I care about sister the most. What a little green tea bitch. Quite the schemer. Sister, after you finish filming this scene, could you explain the next one to me? Looking at his sly eyes, I nodded. Of course, work is more important. Senior, you're truly dedicated to your work. Just as I finished working for several hours and was about to wrap up, someone suddenly barged in. Lexi Sue, come out here. Have you been secretly seeing a man behind my back? It should have been you who got disfigured, not me. What exactly did you do? You ruined me. Come out here. Listening to his shouts, a sudden thought crossed my mind. It seems he also remembers our past life. He was holding a knife, running in and swinging it wildly, with security guards chasing behind him but not daring to get too close. Seeing me surrounded by a crowd, he charged straight toward me. Before he could get close, Song Yang, suspended by wires, kicked him flying. The knife fell to the ground, and he was quickly subdued. He knew all too well the importance of reputation in the entertainment industry. Perhaps recalling his inability to handle the fall from grace in his past life, he wanted to destroy me too. The whole person shouted loudly, "It should have been you who got disfigured. It's you must have done something. How could you do this to me?" His few words made the people around me look at me with complicated expressions. He was taken to the police station. I dragged myself to bail him out late at night, and on the way, I knew someone was secretly photographing me. The next morning, the trending list exploded as the video went viral online. My Weibo account was flooded. This is terrifying when you think about it. Isn't this profiting from others' suffering? At Lexi Sue, care to explain why he said it should have been you who got disfigured? Wait a minute, folks, Lexi Sue's husband Jolshan is also a celebrity. Could this have been premeditated, stepping on her husband to climb up? How ruthless. Everyone believed his breakdown was genuine because he belonged to a vulnerable group, easily gaining the support of the majority. The world is always like this, everyone said. He's already so miserable. How could he possibly be lying? He's already so miserable. How could he possibly be a bad person? I didn't say anything. Yet Jolshan suddenly started using Weibo. His face has recovered about 70%, still bearing the scars of flesh strips, as he solemnly apologized to everyone. With every word, he claimed to have burdened everyone, insisting the matter had nothing to do with him. Yet the tears welling in his eyes left much to the imagination. Many netizens commented below, "Blink if you're being forced." They came up with one scheme after another, even riding the wave of attention to film a public service video featuring a disabled person. Things between him and me were pretty much over. On the night of the bail hearing, the first thing he said to me after getting in the car was, "Quite the achievement, Lexi Sue, stealing everything from me. How strange. This person seems to have never had any morals. What have I taken from you? I have no obligation to shield you from sulfuric acid, especially when you're worse than an animal." I didn't hold back. Since I remembered, there was no need to pretend anymore. His gaze turned icy as he looked at my face, the corner of his mouth twitching. "Do you think I'll lose this way? I could trample you underfoot in my past life, and I can do it again in this one. Oh, then get the hell out. You want to drive me away, aren't you afraid?" Before he could finish, the door swung open, and I kicked him out. He slumped down by the roadside, and I gave him the middle finger from the car. Get lost. Trash. My reputation is a mix of praise and criticism. Yet my popularity has soared even higher. With a face like his that can't act, how could he possibly make a comeback? I heard he started sending resumes to various film crews, but because his face couldn't even manage basic expressions, there was simply no way he could be hired. His previous life had been too smooth, with people holding him too high, and now he was plunged into despair with no way out. He began posting long rants online, each one accusing me of emotional neglect after marriage, of not being affectionate, both overtly and covertly. He claimed I despised his face and married him just to take advantage of him. I didn't explain anything, and my reputation hit rock bottom, until half a month later, when he posted a photo of just me and Song Yang having dinner together, accusing me of marital infidelity and neglecting him. The trending topics exploded again, my reputation instantly plummeted to the bottom, and I was even pelted with eggs while walking down the street. He swaggered into my apartment, watching me return in such a disheveled state, and with no one else around, he finally revealed his true nature. "Lexi Sue, even if I can't find a job, do you think I can't ruin you? If you kneel and beg me now, and transfer all the money you've earned from your roles to me, maybe I'll consider forgiving you." I flung the vegetable leaves off my head and glared at him with burning resentment. "I don't understand. What exactly are you blaming me for? All I did was not shield you from that sulfuric acid. Was I obligated to take it for you?" My words seemed to strike a nerve. He grabbed my collar furiously, roaring, "How dare you not take it for me? My face is ruined, ruined. Do you have any idea how much I've suffered? You've destroyed my entire life. I should have been famous. I should have won Best Actor. It's all your fault. Why didn't you shield me?" He held a dagger to my throat, trying to make me yield. Terrified, I snapped, "Why don't you blame your homewrecker mother? Or your brother who threw acid at you? Instead, you blame me. I should be asking why." He released my hand and watched as I collapsed to the ground. "Of course I blame them. And I won't let them off either. You've ruined my life. I won't spare a single one of you." As he spoke, he was suddenly pinned to the ground. Police officers emerging from the room, along with assistants holding live broadcasts behind them, swarmed forward. Joel Shen stared blankly at the scene, then suddenly shouted in realization, "It's you. You set me up." "No, it's Meng Yuan. She deliberately leaked the information to lure me here." He thought that since Meng Yuan had betrayed me so easily in the previous life, she would do the same this time. But he forgot. If Meng Yuan could betray me for money, she could just as easily betray him for a higher price. The live broadcast just now completely cleared my name, breaking in with a knife, threats, and intimidation. This highly publicized crime earned him an 8-year prison sentence. The wind has changed direction. I've gone public online with all the financial support I provided to the Shen family after marriage, including proof of every repair he made. I even hired paparazzi to expose all his flirtatious chat records from my phone, the tactics he used against me in my past life. I've now returned in kind. Netizens flooded my Weibo with comments. "I've never seen someone so shameless. Truly the son of a mistress. Sister, you're better off alone." I cursed for so long only to find out I wronged an innocent person. I'm so pissed. Don't be such a Joel Shen in life. I just don't get it. His wife is beautiful, earns well, didn't even mind his disfigurement, spent a fortune on his reconstructive surgery. What more could he possibly want? What a psycho. Joel Shen was completely nailed to the pillar of shame. With netizens as witnesses, the divorce went smoothly. As for asset division, no need to even mention. He was the at-fault party attempting murder. How could he possibly walk away with a large share of my assets? He was completely abandoned by his father. Too humiliating. Even his mother gave up on him after the phone records were made public. Apart from Joel Shen being scolded, the band Wen Qing was once again dragged out for public shaming. Her reputation so tarnished that she'd likely have vegetables thrown at her if she walked down the street. I guess this counts as another form of fame. In this world, there are always people who are insatiably greedy. What goes around comes around. What one owes and fails to repay, fate will make them compensate in another way. Just as what I possess is all that I was meant to have, I have a clear conscience.